What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now today, I actually have some Battlefield 2042 footage to show you guys, and I'm going to be rocking the PBX, and actually I'm going to be using Casper, the specialist. I gotta say, he is very, very useful. I know a lot of people don't use him because they think they're just going to be sitting back and droning the whole time spotting enemies, but realistically, you can truly use this specialist to your advantage. I'm being honest. I know it doesn't seem possible, but fragging out with this guy is just an absolute blast. I mean, if you ever think you're in a sticky situation, all you gotta do is just lay prone, plop out the drone, spot them, and while the enemy is 3D spotted on the minimap, you can go ahead and change up that gunfight any way you want. I mean, literally, it's absolutely outstanding, and more than half the time, the enemy doesn't even see the drone sitting above their heads, which means that they're pushing you, thinking that they're completely, unrecognized. You don't know anywhere that they're coming from. You don't know what angle they're going to be pushing, when in reality, you know exactly which way they're pushing. I've finessed so many players with this drone. And also on top of that, whenever an enemy is nearby, your screen flashes red. So, I mean, realistically, I think he's a stupidly underrated specialist. But with that being said, the gameplay isn't the worst of the worst when it comes to Battlefield 2042. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, since the beginning of the beta for this game, you know my opinion on the gunplay, the movement, and all that stuff, even though they nerfed down the movement a little bit, and they also really messed up the hit registration, and also just the mouse input as well. It's been some problems for the PC side of things, which they are slowly improving upon. But I've always semi-enjoyed what the game had to offer. I just always have a couple of massive problems that hold me back. The specialists, and also the map designs. With this most recent update that fixed 400 plus bug fixes and other improvements, I gotta say, the game is in a much more playable state. Before, when I absolutely dropped the game and I, refused to grind it anymore on stream and, get gameplay footage for you guys on the YouTube channel. I mean, I've been using a lot of Battlefield 1 footage recently. The reason that happened is because I couldn't play the game. You couldn't find lobbies that were less than 150 ping. I couldn't get into games that, weren't completely filled with bots. I mean, just go back and listen to any of my commentaries. It was a constant complaint across the board. The mouse input felt awful. Bullets aren't registering ever. I mean, even after the update, I do have a funny little clip right here. The bullet registration is not working. It's just, there's a lot of tiny things that ruin the experience. But after this update, even though, this footage that I'm showing right here is after the update and that bullet registration was working, regardless, that's very rare. The game is performing a lot better than it did day one, and it's in a spot where it should have been day one. It's not completely perfect. It still needs to be molded and perfected. But if the game launched like this, I guarantee that Season 1 would have not been pushed back. But even with all of these fantastic bug fixes and quality of life improvements, I still find myself just struggling. Even though I'm trying to force myself to adapt to the specialist, like I said, I'm branching out, I'm trying different people, I'm trying to learn them and perfect them. At the end of the day, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? As a Battlefield fan, it doesn't feel like this is the spot to be messing around with specialists. And even though if you could get to learn them and, perfect them, people are still going to abuse the metas. People are still going to abuse, constant armor from Angel and nonstop meds from Falc. Everybody's going to always abuse the same stuff. I miss the class system, but more importantly, I miss good maps. I find myself truly struggling with that the most. Like I said, I have slowly been adapting to specialists, but what I cannot adapt to is these horrible core map designs. Now, luckily for Battlefield 2042, within this update, they re-released, because I believe this came out before this update as well, but they took it off the portal, but they brought it back, and it's flashback conquest. That is actually the gameplay footage that you're watching right here, and I am swearing this is going to be the only thing I play at this point when it comes to Battlefield 2042, because it gives me what I want out of a Battlefield experience. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, I don't have that much of a problem when it comes to the gunplay. I don't have that much of a problem when it comes to movement. I mean, shoot, even Battlefield 5, you could slide cancel like there was no tomorrow, and everybody said they loved that movement. So the movement and gunplay, it's not too crucial at this point. I think the biggest issue here is the maps we're playing upon, and I find myself enjoying the game so much more when I go to flashback Conquest. It just proves that the developers knew what they were doing back in the day. There's more action and more gunfights with 64 players, less than 128 player count that, they've been trying to brag off for the core all-out warfare Battlefield 24, There's 64 players in this game mode, yet there's more action and more engagements and just more simple Battlefield fun in this game mode alone than there is in across all of the all-out warfare playlist. And of course, I had to make sure it just wasn't, the update that made the game more fun. So I went back, I revisited Conquest 128 players. I played on all the original maps in Battlefield 2042. And I wanted to leave within the first 5 minutes of the game. It just comes simply down to the developers trying to... What's the word I'm trying to find here? They're not bragging and boasting, but they're trying to basically consider their game next gen by introducing the largest maps we can ever see. The bigger, the better. That's basically the motto right now over at DICE. The bigger, the better. The more players, the bigger the maps, the better overall game. That's apparently what us Battlefield players want, when in reality, that's completely wrong. We just want a nice sandbox, warlike experience. And running halfway across the map, spending, 5+ minutes of your time with no action doing nothing is not a way to capture your audience's attention whatsoever. Conquest used to be my favorite game mode in Battlefield. That's all I would ever want to play. Yes, there was Rush, and they introduced Breakthrough and stuff like that. There's always been other fantastic game modes that I love to dabble in. But at the end of the day, I love Conquest. You guys know me, especially all the Call of Duty players out there, the Call of Duty people who enjoy my channel. You know me as well when it comes to map designs. I prefer larger maps in COD compared to smaller maps in COD, because larger maps give you a little bit more variety, easier flank routes, and allows me as a aggressive player to be able to play in multiple ways without, losing out on too many creative options on how to handle gunfights. The same thing goes for Battlefield. I enjoy small maps every once in a while, which small maps meaning, like Rush game mode, Breakthrough game mode, because basically it takes the large map format and condenses it down just to 2 sites, so all the combat is just, very centered. But I always enjoyed the larger map experience. I loved bouncing around between the flags in Conquest, and it was always a blast when everybody was focused on one flag in Conquest, and the battle really got all out and crazy. Conquest is a core Battlefield staple, and it was ruined in Battlefield 2042. I refuse to touch Conquest ever again until they, obviously redo all the maps, which they're claiming they're going to do, but I don't even know if that's going to help. Truly, it just comes down to the size of the maps. They can add as much cover as they want, but I am just not going to be in the mood to sprint halfway across to any of these flags. And I don't want to wait for call-ins. I don't want to just pray that players are actually going to think about carrying teammates. I always do it when I get a vehicle. I always try to pick up as many teammates as I can so they don't have to run, because I understand the struggle. But nobody else does. Everybody will gladly ditch you, and they have like 4 open seats, 3 open seats. It's rough. It's rough. And Flashback Conquest gives me something to play when it comes to Battlefield 2042. It allows me to actually enjoy the game and grind it. Because it is the new Battlefield game. I do want to grind it. I want to go for the weekly challenges because they actually been pretty good. The new all-around weapon camo. It's like a kind of winter camo that can go on all weapons. Actually really cool. I unlocked it, I put on my weapon. I think it looks great. It reminds me exactly of what I love from Battlefield games. It looks flashy, it's not dull and bland, and it looks like nothing. It has a nice look to it, but at the same time, it's realistic. It fits the Battlefield. I love that type of stuff, So I've been enjoying it. But again, like I said, it's hard to grind it because your only options are to either go to the Portal Dead servers or go into all-out warfare. But, like I said, with this new game mode, I'm going to be playing this game a lot more often. And I hope that DICE can look at this, and I hope that we, the community, can actually... If you do go back to play Battlefield 2042, of course. If you don't want to, then by all means don't, because that's the best way to, obviously, revolt against the specialist system and the crap that they did in this game. But if you are still playing and you want to get your money's worth, this right here is the way to go. You will not be disappointed. You'll be able to get so much playtime, and you will be able to enjoy Battlefield. It proves that the Battlefield 2042 formula isn't completely all bad, even though I still don't like specialists and I think they should be changed. But it proves that map design is extremely crucial for a Battlefield game to be successful. extremely crucial because I could easily play with all the specialists and, the bugs and glitches and all that crap that are still in the game, of course, the hit detection and all that bull crap. You guys saw the clip earlier. I can easily play that while sitting in the Flashback Conquest playlist, but I cannot tolerate any of that stuff for less than, like I said, 5 minutes if I go in the all-out warfare playlist and play on the big maps. I just simply cannot. So Dice, I know you're probably not watching this, but please keep this game mode in the full rotation. Just put it in all-out warfare and allow this to be permanent. Because for some strange reason, they will not put these old-school classic maps that are in Portal into all-out warfare. I don't know why they won't do that, because that'll add so much more variety to the core game itself, but whatever. Like I said, if they want to just keep it in this playlist, then keep it in the playlist. Just please do not remove it, because the maps that you have currently in your main game, 128 players, I'm sorry to say, is not enough. I mean, you need close to double to make those maps feel like a normal Battlefield map, sadly. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bums, I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so: Twitter and Discord, below the link down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch, link that is in the description as well. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.